Chapter 16. So where did you grow up? Daisy asked before taking a bite of one of the massive burgers they'd gotten from Mac's pub. They were sitting at a picnic table in the sun at the public beach. Daisy told him there were more private spots along the shore, but they were sticking with their goal of being seen today. There were more people on the beach and at the surrounding tables than Elliot had expected, considering it was only April, but it was unseasonably warm today, and there were plenty of townsfolk out soaking in the sun. Elliot finished his mouthful of fries before answering. Not too far from here, really. I grew up in North Beddingfield, just a few towns over. Does your mom still live there? No, she moved south a few years ago. Said she couldn't stand another winter. I get that, Daisy said, tipping her face up to the sun. I feel like I'm finally defrosting. Elliot chuckled. I went to school at Cornell though, so I lived in New York for a while. That's where you lived with your wife?
Yup.
And your dog? Elliot sighed.
Yup.
And his brother, but he didn't feel like bringing that up. Dream Harbor is a big change from New York. I needed a change, I think. I kept running into Leia in our old neighborhood. It wasn't healthy for me to stay there. That and Caleb was driving him crazy. That makes sense. That's how I ended up back here. I needed to not be in all our old places. Well, and I had nowhere else to go. She gave him a rueful smile as she popped another fry in her mouth. On the plus side, these burgers are delicious. Daisy smiled. That's true, and you can't beat this view. They were sitting on the same side of the table, so they could look out over the water, and it really was a beautiful view. Deep blue sea met rocky coastline met pale blue sky. Even the seagulls swooping overhead looked idyllic. Yeah, it's pretty good, Daisy agreed with a sigh. I'm not sure anyone is paying much attention to us over here though. Elliot looked around the beach. There were a few families with small kids set up in the sand, a game of beach volleyball happening down by the nets, a couple of very brave young women in bathing suits, sunbathing, despite the fact that it wasn't that warm, and a few sleek black seals swimming out in the water. No one seemed the slightest bit interested in them. Should I stand on the table and start shouting a love poem or something? Daisy giggled. Would you, She laughed harder. I'm just kidding. Okay, good. I'm not much of a poet. She turned on the bench so she was facing him. What were you like as a kid? More things you think we should know about each other in case it comes up around other people? No. She took a sip of her Coke, the straw tucked between her lips. I genuinely want to know. Elliot turned too, so their knees were touching. I was painfully shy, actually. Painfully, he nodded. There was an entire year in elementary school when I just didn't speak. Refused. That got me sent to therapy. Did therapy help? A little. I just never liked the feeling of being the center of attention. Even if the attention was just the teacher calling on me in class, it made me feel all hot and panicked. Oh God, Elliot. Daisy's eyes had gone wide in horror, making Elliot feel like a seagull was about to land on him or something. What? He waved a hand over his head to protect himself. No, nothing's there. She grabbed his hand, sandwiched it between hers. I just feel horrible. And, about what? He asked, still not able to figure out what she was so upset about. I've been making you perform and be the center of attention all over town. You stood up at a town meeting for me. Of course I did. She shook her head, her hair flying wildly around her shoulders. She'd never put it back up, and Elliot realized he was still wearing her hair tie around his wrist. He liked seeing it there, a little piece of her on his body. No, Elliot. Not of course you did. You were the only person in this damn town that stood up for me, and I didn't know that it was basically your worst fear. He tucked her hair behind her ear and she stilled, her eyes going wide. Daisy, I'm not 8 years old anymore. I can talk in front of people. Is it my favorite thing? No. But I can do it. I present designs to clients all the time. It's really okay. I'm not doing anything I don't want to do. At some point, he'd gone from tucking her loose hair back to cupping the side of her face. Her eyes fluttered closed as she leaned into his touch. Okay. Her voice was breathy when she finally spoke again. But you have to tell me if this goes too far. Too far with Daisy. What would that look like? He didn't know anymore. He knew he was falling too hard for this woman who wasn't looking for another relationship. He knew he was repeating old mistakes. But he also knew he wanted to lean forward and kiss her more than anything. He ran his thumb over Daisy's cheekbone, and a whimper left her lips. Was this going too far? He didn't have a second to think about it before someone called out, "Heads," and he had to shift from nearly kissing Daisy to shielding her from the incoming frisbee. Luckily, the plastic disc hit his forearm and not Daisy's lovely face. She blinked up at him from under his arm. "What the hell was that, frisbee?" A young woman came running over to retrieve it. "Sorry," she called. "The wind took it." "No problem." Elliot handed it back while Daisy sat, still dazed beside him. If the stunned look on her face was from their almost kiss or from nearly being decapitated, he wasn't sure. "Oh, Daisy," the girl said. "I was trying to convince my sister to use you for her wedding flowers." That snapped Daisy out of it. "Really? That'd be..." The frisbee girl cut her off. "She didn't go for it though, which is too bad because I really hate her, and I was hoping you could do some of your magic on him." "I don't. It's not magic," she shrugged. "Whatever it is, I was really hoping to get rid of this guy. I hate to think he'll be my brother-in-law soon." She shrugged again. "Oh well, I'll let you two get back to your date." With that she ran off and left a deflated Daisy and an imprint of her frisbee in their lunch. "You'll figure it out, Daisy," she sighed. "Yeah, maybe. Or maybe to let down generations of women who have kept the shop running for decades. You said it yourself, remember? Daisy's flower shop has always been known for weddings, and I can't seem to book a single one anymore. You won't let them down. You have an awful lot of faith in me for someone that barely knows me." Elliot shrugged. "It's my job as your fake boyfriend, G. Thanks." At some point they'd started holding hands again, their fingers intertwined in his lap. He gave her a little squeeze. "Don't you want to keep quizzing me on my childhood? I have some real interesting sibling rivalry stuff we could get into." "Ooh, sounds juicy." Her smile was slowly returning. "I always wanted a sibling. It can be nice sometimes, and not nice other times. When you have an older brother, it's not always great," he said with a rueful smile, remembering all the fights he and Caleb used to get into, especially the last one, the one they'd had right before he quit the business and left. Suddenly he was sorry he'd brought up the subject. "Were you a lot alike?" Elliot shook his head. "Complete opposites, actually. Caleb was always bold, loud, and confident. Still is. People notice him when he walks into a room." "I notice you when you walk into a room." His face heated at her words. He was going to argue that that was a recent phenomenon, but he stopped himself. It was nice to be noticed by Daisy. He didn't need to be noticed by anyone else. "Thanks. I've been noticing you for a while now." Daisy ducked her head, letting her hair obscure her face again. "Oh yeah? How could I not, when you're always causing a stir at the town meetings?" She lifted her head and laughed, giving his shoulder a playful shove. "Not always. I'll just say, things got a lot more interesting when you moved back to town." He remembered the town meeting nearly a year ago, when Daisy showed up to weigh in on the new name for the diner-turned-pancake-house. He'd been in town for 6 months at that point, and still wasn't sure why the hell he'd uprooted his life and moved here. Daisy had caught his eye right away, and right away he knew that was a problem. He'd tried to avoid her, but then he saw her at Jeannie and Logan's wedding, laughing with her friends, dancing in that slinky black dress, arms above her head like she could dance away whatever it was that always made her look so sad. She looked gorgeous that night. Maybe that was the day his libido woke up. "Oh really?" Daisy asked, and he decided not to tell her just how much he'd noticed. "Yup. It was a total snooze fest my first few months here." Daisy giggled. "I was ready to pack up and head back to New York until you showed up and started yelling at elderly people." Daisy laughed harder. "I don't yell at elderly people. It's fine with me. They totally deserve it." She rolled her eyes at him, but she was still grinning. "They do sometimes, don't they?" Elliot nodded. "Totally. I'm sure your staying had nothing to do with that big fancy job you got redesigning the inn." He shrugged. "That may have played a small role. It certainly made him feel like he hadn't made a big mistake moving here after all." "So did you and your brother fight a lot?" she asked, pivoting back to their earlier topic. "When we were small, yeah. All the time. Being a year apart, they really gave their mother a run for her money." Thinking about it now reminded him that he should probably be nicer to his mom. "But at some point, Caleb decided he needed to protect me, like at school. He did a lot of my talking for me." "That's kinda sweet in a way." "I guess so, yeah. Problem was, he didn't notice when I started speaking for myself again, when I actually grew up. His brother still thought of him as that scared kid. Still thought he needed protecting, even all these years later." And the way Elliot fell apart after the divorce only seemed to prove Caleb right. He worries about you, yeah? All the unanswered texts from his brother ran through his mind. He and my mom. They've been. Well, they've been hounding me since the divorce. I don't think they believe that I ever leave my room. He attempted a laugh, not wanting Daisy to know how close to the truth that had been for him in the beginning. How many days he hadn't left his room in those early weeks after the breakup. He'd moved to prove to himself and his family that he didn't need protecting, that he could do this on his own. Daisy's face lit up with an idea. Let's call him. What? Right now? Yeah, let's do a video chat. He can see that you're out and about on this beautiful day with your cute new girlfriend, she said, fluttering her eyelashes. Might as well take advantage of our arrangement. Arrangement, right? Okay. He cleared his throat. I guess we could do that. Great, Daisy clapped her hands. Let me get into character. What kind of girlfriend do you want me to be? Just be you, Daisy. Just be me. She sounded like she wanted to tease him about that, like she couldn't believe that he didn't have any special requests for his fake girlfriend. I wouldn't change a thing. His gaze held hers. Oh, she breathed, a small, pleased smile crossing her face. Okay? Elliot broke eye contact to grab his phone and make the call. They arranged themselves on the bench with the view of the ocean in the background. Daisy tucked in close to his side, so they would both be on screen. Elliot held his breath while they waited for the call to go through. Maybe Caleb wouldn't answer. Maybe he was out. Maybe. Elliot, hey, where have you been? I've been trying to get in touch, damn it. He really needed to get better about answering those texts, or Caleb would be next to show up on his doorstep. Hey, sorry about that. Just been really busy lately. Caleb's attention shifted to Daisy. I guess so. This is Daisy, my new girlfriend. His brother's brows rose to his hairline. Your new girlfriend. Wow. Hi, Daisy. So nice to meet you. Hi, it's nice to finally meet you too. I've heard so much about you. Elliot nearly laughed. Everything she'd heard about him had been in the last 5 minutes. Wish I could say the same. My brother's been EMEA lately, so I haven't heard much of anything. Just busy with work, Elliot repeated. He really didn't need to be scolded by Caleb right now. Not in front of Daisy. How is that job going? He was sure that to Daisy it seemed like a casual enough question, but to Elliot the subtext was loud and clear. How's the job you decided to do without me going? How are you managing things alone? Pretty well, Elliot ground out. The owners keep changing their minds. You know how that goes, his brother laughed. Oh yeah, I know. Wait, Daisy cut in. Are you an architect too? She asked, giving away how little Elliot had actually told her about his brother. Oh no, Caleb chuckled. I leave all that math stuff to Elle. I'm a contractor. I do the heavy lifting. Yes, you're very big and strong, Elliot muttered, waiting to see if his brother was about to tell Daisy the whole story. The one where Elliot fell apart and then ran, ditching his brother. The story in which Elliot was actually the worst. Looks like a nice day there, Caleb said, sidestepping the whole conversation. It was embarrassing how relieved Elliot was. He knew his brother had managed to keep the business going without him, doing simpler remodels and less restoration work, but Elliot still felt guilty about the whole mess. Something he didn't really feel like working out during this beach phone call. It's beautiful, Daisy said. We were just having a picnic and Elliot said he'd been meaning to call you, so it seemed like the perfect opportunity for us to meet. Caleb flashed his obnoxiously charming smile. I'm certainly happy to meet you, Daisy. I'm glad you're getting my brother out of the house. Elliot clenched his back teeth together so hard he could hear it. Oh, that wasn't me, Daisy said. Elliot's always out around town. It's how we met, actually. He came into my flower shop. Oh, really, friends? Yeah, Elliot is really social. Goes out all the time. Tons of. He nudged her leg with his and gave her a don't push it stare. Daisy just grinned. He's a lot of fun to be around. Caleb's smile was so damn genuine when he said, I know that much is true. It was like a punch to the gut. Even after everything, leaving Caleb in a lurch and ignoring him all the time, his brother was still nice to him. It was sweet. And annoying. Right, well. Elliot's face was turning red again, an affliction his brother never suffered from. We should probably go. Okay, enjoy your date, and answer your damn texts so. I don't think you're dead. You know I'm not dead. Mom is here visiting, and I'm sure she would alert you if she found me buried under my bedsheets. Jesus, Elle, don't say shit like that. Sorry, and text me back. Okay, Bye, Daisy, Caleb said with a wave before ending the call. He's sweet, Daisy said. And Elliot waited for the inevitable. Every woman preferred Caleb over him. It just made sense. He was charming and handsome and outgoing. But you're cuter, she said with a grin. And you're the best fake girlfriend ever.